So I do want to thank you again for coming and participating in my professional development for my TL 712 class.
We were glad to do it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So based on the responses that y'all gave me from things that you're wanting to learn more about and everything, one of the biggest things was formative assessment. So I've just pulled up a couple basic definitions of what formative assessment is. We know we're not giving that actual grade for what they're doing. We're just kind of looking to see what's happening, what their thought process is, and so forth. The next thing that I bring up is the types of formative assessments, and we've used several of these. Some of these are more well-suited towards an English classroom, like the round-robin charts. You're going to go around to each of the kids and so forth. Think, pair, share. I know that, like, with my younger kids, I do that sometimes. One of the ones I just learned about was this I notice, I wonder, and I'm going to have a little activity for you guys to do towards the end on that. It's pretty interesting as far as what graphing goes and being able to understand and interpret what's going on in a graph. And then classroom polls, we're actually going to do a Quizlet Live today, so you can see how that works as well. Alright, so the Quizlet Live is a great opportunity for students to participate with each other, and it becomes kind of fun as they compete. It's going to be a live scoring type of deal. You'll see it moving up and down. Each question they get right, it'll move up. When they get it wrong, it moves down. And so it can be quickly reversed into who's the lead. But it's actually kind of, I think, better than Kahoot. Because Kahoot, you have to kind of wait after each question. They're looking at their scores then, seeing who's in the lead. But this is real time. So they're going to see the scores move up and down. So we're going to do one of those in a few minutes. Excuse me. The breakdown of how Quizlet Live actually works, very, very easy. I actually had another coworker show me how to do it, so it's not very hard. I think I'll be able to use this a little bit more. But you choose what you want the kids to review, and you have them put in the code that's generated from Quizlet Live itself, and they type that in, and the system itself groups them into the teams. You have to have at least 4 people that are playing at any given time. And so it kind of just divides it up, you know, however many kids there are, at least pairing them up together. And then it gives them kind of funky names of animals, is what I saw today. I don't know, like one of them was a zebra, one was a koala. So it's just kind of fun. They get to see what they are. It comes up on their screen which team that they're on. Just kind of neat. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. If you would, type in https :// Quizlet.com/live.
Are you starting the competition?
And it should come up with a screen that says, put your code in from your teacher. Are you all set, Ms. Tippett?
Man, I hope I'm on your team.
Good? Okay. So I'm just going to switch screens so I can show you the code real quick. If you will enter this code for me, please. 341265. And so you see right at the top there, excuse me, right at the bottom, is waiting for the players. So we have Jamie in so far, Sherry, and I'm going to act as the 4th person. So I will need to enter the code as well. Sorry. So it's really easy. This is what the screen looks like. The kids enter the code. It's 341 again, 265. The only thing, like Quizlet, that you want to do is make sure they put appropriate names in. You know, Kahoot, you can cross them out and make them do something else. You'll want to make sure that they're understanding how they can go in, right?
Kahoot where it gives them the name.
Yeah.
They're like, can I try again? Because I don't like funky monkey.
All right, so everyone's going to be given the same question, and there's only 1 correct answer. Okay, so, oh my gosh, y'all. Do I go live? Where's my button? Excuse me for just a moment. This one?
You can just do, I think you can just do create game before.
There it is, yes.
There we go.
Thank you, I apologize. Alright, so we're going to start our game. Okay, so look it. So, Jamie and Sherry, you're on the same team. How funny, right? It is kind of funny that the 2 Jennifers are together.
They all got to be dolphins.
Oh,
They're freaking
I can't change that, but it's kind of funny, I guess. Enjoy the dolphins. The dolphins are the most intelligent, I think, of mammals.
T-shirts.
So, one of the great things to do though with your teens is to have them sit next to each other because you want to encourage discussion and them responding together.
I don't want to trash talk Jamie.
Jamie, if you don't care to go ahead and sit next to Miss Sherry, but you want to take your Chromebook with you. Because the answer choices that come up may not necessarily be on Sherry's, they might be on yours. And then, Miss Kelly, you and I will work together. Alright, so then you just click Start Game. And so you'll see this as the questions are going to come up now. We are finding, that is, sorry.
It looks the same to me.
I think I have it.
You think you have it?
I thought
So if you think
Can I
you
make it
have it
big?
on yours,
I made it
Sherry,
bigger.
you'll click it. But if Jamie, you think it's on yours, then you click it. Now Jennifer just answered, and so you see on our scoreboard, it automatically starts our scoring because we got the first one right.
I think it's
So you see, and so the next question automatically comes up. So you keep going, and it's going back and forth. Okay, so I forgot it.
you already answered it.
Okay, so we got a tie. We're neck and neck here. And so I can see just with you guys right now, like you're like in that competition mode, like who has it, who has it? You're trying to do your counting. And right now, I know Miss Hines is also doing slope in her class.
You can click. I don't know if
Miss
you'll
Kelly,
notice
what are
it.
you doing?
Oh, well,
It's been so long since she's done the proper.
the graphs are so small, but you can click and make the graphs
Yes,
bigger.
you
like
can
if
click
there's
and make the
pictures.
graphs bigger. They have their touch screens, so they're able to make it bigger. Did you make a boo-boo?
No, I said it.
Oh, okay. But it's kind of fun. Like I was saying, Miss Hines and I are both doing graphing right now with slope, so I actually think this is a great activity for us to incorporate right now, especially with us having the day off on Friday. I might go ahead and give this to my kids tomorrow because they just took their test today, so little fun competition with them. Oh, you got it wrong. So you see what happened, it threw you all the way back to 0. Yes. So that's how it gets, this is where it gets going, and to me, I love the interaction that happens.
It's negative.
And so we've got some collaborative learning going on. We've got the excitement of I'm going to win, no, I'm going to win. And the other nice thing about this program as well, as you're working, I'll just keep talking about little things. Unlike Kahoot, which once the kids, sometimes they get kicked out of Kahoot, and unless you've written the join number down, you don't know how to get them back in. But with this program, with Quizlet, oh, we won! Okay, with Quizlet, it'll have the number up there, the join code. So we can click to look at the stats, and so what we learned and you're initially confused with and so forth. So it's pretty interesting just to see the results that can come out of this. So I hope you enjoyed listening to this part. The next,
Really good for vocabulary and geometry.
yeah, for geometry would be really good. Even with doing the alternate interior angles and supplementary, and I guess they'll have to think the whole knowledge thing and be able to connect it together. The next one that I'm going to go over with you for the formative assessment is the I notice, I wonder. I'm going to give you a little bit of information on that. I'm going to switch back over. And this is the I notice, I wonder. So I thought it was really interesting. A teacher did it in math class, actually, and I'm going to give you a kind of an example of what she did. And it's just look at the graph. So many of the questions on like ACT and performance series have to interpret what's going on in a graph. So I thought this was a really good idea. They just spend a couple minutes looking at it, and then you say turn to your neighbor. So it kind of gets a think, pair, share in there as well. And then you bring it back together as the class, and you can note like what they're saying, what they noticed. Then you say, I wonder. What do you wonder about what you're seeing in the graph? And again, a think, pair, share. They'll turn to each other, talk about it, and then bring the class back together once again. Then they start to look at the problems. Because a lot of times those wonders and what I notice are answers to the questions. So if they can understand the graph before they even look at the question or have some kind of idea of what's going on, it should make it a little bit easier for them. So if you don't mind, we're going to take a couple of minutes here. This is actually an activity I did with my Algebra A students recently. So I've got a copy for each of you. And if you will start off, don't write anything yet. Just look at the graph. And let's take a minute and think about what you notice. What are you seeing in the graph? And you just jot some notes to the side of your graph.
Can we write on it?
Yes, please. I'll have to take these from you after. Yes. And I always like to remind students, read those directions too. That might kind of help you understand what's going on. But even without it, just what are you noticing in the graph? Excuse me while I get a drink of water. Okay, so we've had about a minute. So if I can get you guys to tell me, just go one for each of you, something that you noticed in the graph. Yes, Ms. Hines.
The more haircuts that are made, the more profit is made.
Okay, very good. Miss Tippett.
Well, I said the more haircuts, the higher the graph goes.
Okay, we notice that it is going up. Miss Kelly.
So there's an endpoint on one part of the graph and an arrow on the other side.
Oh, okay, good. That's a really good observation. All right, Miss Hines, she thinks that's interesting. All right. Okay, so now I want you to take a minute, and what do you wonder about what you're seeing? What do you wonder? There's always one that's going to get done earlier than another, and they might already start. They can, if you've paired them up already, let them start doing a think, pair, share with the person next to them, and then you can bring it back together. So Ms. Hines and Ms. Tippett, if you'd like to kind of share your ideas with each other as a think, pair, share.
I'm wondering how much the haircuts could
That's a
cost.
good question. I wondered about these negative values. How do you get negative?
Okay, Miss Kelly, what did you wonder?
Jamie stole mine.
Oh, there's always someone that steals yours, isn't there? You don't have to erase anything. Now, this is just a clear.
I made it as a question, so I was just going to.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's fine. Perfectly fine. Okay, let's come back and share ideas about what we wonder. Let's start with Miss Kelly.
Well, mine and Jamie's, I guess, is why there are negative values for the profit.
Okay, great. Yes,
I
ma'am.
know,
Why?
because you have a break-even point when you're running a business, and
Very
the
good.
break-even point is 12.
Excellent. What does that? What does break even mean?
Means you make no money or lose any money.
Okay, very good. We finally paid, and if we look at the top where it talks about the description of the problem, she has a rental fee first. And for a lot of hairstyles, that is something. They rent a space at a salon, and once they pay that, then they're finally making some money. Ms. Hines, did you have anything else?
No, you answered my question about the negative values.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good. So that the fact that Miss Kelly found out that there was a point at the bottom, she wondered about that, and an arrow on the top, that's because at the very minimum, she's got to make that $200 with no haircuts. She's got to have $200, and from there, the sky's the limit. She can make as much money as she gets past 12 haircuts, like Miss Tippett said. That was a break-even point. Okay. So I'm not going to have you do the rest of the questions, but it does talk about X and Y intercepts and what that means. And I'm kind of giving you the lowdown on that right now. If X is 0, what does that mean for the Y value? If Y is 0, what does it mean for the X value? So just kind of a good engaging activity to get them going. Okay. As my last formative assessment piece, we can always rely on a tried and true exit card. So if you will take a moment, pick whichever color card you want, and tell me one thing that you learned and one thing that you're still not sure about or you'd like more information on.
No names on it.
Yes, please, if you'll put your names on that, I appreciate it. And again, I do appreciate you coming. I hope you learned a little bit about some formative assessments that perhaps you haven't used in the past. I hope you can utilize them in your classes. And have a great afternoon. Thank you all so much. All right. So, Ms. Hines, what was something that you liked about today's?
I liked on the Quizlet Live with my Chromebook because it was touchscreen, so you could really
Okay.
zoom in quickly.
Okay.
And I could just touch my answer. I didn't have to use my mouse.
Okay, great. Do you think that would be an issue for students that didn't have a touch screen, or do you think they could still?
I think if the whole class doesn't have a touch screen, they'll be at the same advantage.
Okay, all right, good deal. Now, Ms. Kelly, did you say that you were able to make the graph bigger though with your mouse?
Yeah, so I just clicked on it and it did get, not huge, but at least bigger, where I could actually count the slope.
Okay.
And calculate that.
Excellent. Ms. Tippett, is there something particular that you enjoyed about today's professional development?
Well, I was wondering on the Quizlet if you could, do you make your own?
You can make your own
Or
as well.
pre-made?
Yes, now you can create your own, and there is just a create button for you. There's the search button where I just typed in for finding the slope. And so tons of them are published, but what I did find out is that some people have locked theirs, so you can't actually go live with their questions. But if you go through, you'll see the button. If it's highlighted, you can use theirs. But then you can also create your own. So it's kind of neat.
Good deal.
Well, thanks again, y'all. Appreciate it.